Yes, me. Hope so. So very briefly, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Pekka Montin. I come from Rapal Ltd. From Finland, and I'm in charge of the infrastructure business unit in Rapal. I met Professor Ballard in Finland 1 month ago, and I showed him some stuff, and Glenn asked me, why do you do this? And the reason is that I think we have something to give the US experts also. And I'm here, the first thing I'm here is because I want to learn from you and hope we can learn from each other. And about Rapal, Andrew and your colleague, you were talking about Sunt and your revenue, which was about 850 million US dollars. Okay, Rapal is a little bit smaller. We are a semi-sized Finnish cost consultancy, and our turnover is about 0.5% of yours. So, but we are.
But your profit margin.
Yeah, we are more profitable, I guess. No, that's not it. Just a joke. All right. Rapal is concentrated on cost management of the built environment. My focus is in the infrastructure, but I have my CEO also here, who is more responsible of the buildings and more involved in that sector. But it's built environment and mainly cost management. We don't do project management, anything else. It's just cost management. Databases, software, solutions, services, everything involved with that. I know Finland, a couple of basic figures I have to always say. A country of 5.2 million inhabitants. How many saunas? Have a guess? About 5 million. Okay. Statistics Finland says so. And how many mobile phones? About 5 million. That's right. So that's Finland in brief. But only one system, one commercial system to manage infrastructure costs. And that's in infra.net. So it's all about tools and services for infrastructure cost management. The basic idea behind all this is that we have to ensure that money is used right. We had a very good presentation from Caltrans this morning, and there were big figures you have here in California. How do we ensure that this money we are going to spend is used effectively and right? In fact, please do.
You don't work for the legislature?
No.
Sorry.
Maybe with our solutions we can help you a little bit. Hope so. It remains to be seen. In order to maintain and develop infrastructure property. So, what do we offer? Estimation methods covering the whole life cycle, from the initiative phases to the user maintenance phase. Cost data covering the whole life cycle. We all know, I guess, that one of the most challenging things in projects and in cost management is to get the data, the up-to-date data. How can we be sure that it's right, and so on? Do we have tools, databases? I guess you do in the United States and in California. But in Finland we had a little bit problems with this 7 years ago. Now we don't, because we have infra.net. And services. In Finland it's very common that it's the engineers who do the estimation work in the planning stages and in the designing stages of a project. We have had very few experts on this sector. It has been the job for the engineers. According to my opinion is that it's maybe it's a niche branch, but it needs expertism that's very it's very crucial for a project and it can be solved so that, for example, an engineer responsible of designing a bridge knows everything which has to do with the coast. And in infra.net, it's about cost optimization, not minimization. This is very important, I think, because the client can want in fact anything if he's prepared to pay the cost. So why not? Just do it right, do it effectively. And you have to have a system to support this. And the basic idea, in fact, is, if I put it more briefly, it's saving taxpayers' money. Do you agree? No hands. I'm a taxpayer. I want it to be used properly. We have to tell them what we are doing and that we do it right. So, solution. We collect the data, the systems, everything into one information platform. Into one, if I could say, it's a data model or a data bank, whatever you want to call it. We call it in infra.net information platform. So show you also the ICT structure later on. And from this information platform, we have different kind of information delivery services which we sell or which can be exploited by the property project managers or the asset managers. The same database, in fact, and the same information serves multiple kinds of decision making. This is the basic idea. Why do we share? Why should we have a whole lot of data banks? Why shouldn't we have only one which everybody has access to? We have the product models, we have estimation methods, we have cost data banks, we have everything there. The only problem is how do we deliver it to those who need it. So we have created services for that. It's a very simple picture. In fact, but it shows the basic idea. Put the information onto one platform and then share. The information is to be shared. Okay, if we do this, we have certain possibilities. For example, to this cost data, we can quite easily, if we have proper models, it's quite easy to combine the asset data. For example, we heard a presentation from Markku Tervo, and Markku said that the Finnish road administration has a lot of data banks and etc., etc. Okay, why not combine this asset data to the cost information? This is something we do. And also, which is very important, the condition data. In what condition our property is at the moment? What should be done? What should be done first? What should be done after that? Okay, we combine the data banks into one information platform, and then it's about sharing it to everybody who needs it. I very seldom talk about problems. I use the word challenges, because problem it's a negative word. Challenge is better. Challenge or possibility. I'm sure that most of us share these topics. That the challenges when we're talking about infrastructure project management are constant cost overruns. I've heard, for example, the Boston tunnel project you had in Boston. There was a massive cost overrun. I don't remember how many millions or billions, but you had a little bit problems down in Boston. Cost planning. How do we set targets in the preliminary or in the initiative project phases? It has been a problem because we don't know very much. Professor Ballard was talking about variation. Variation is bigger in the initiative stages. So how do we handle the variation? There's a risk involved, and the risk is big. Cost steering. For example, cost estimates in different project stages or phases is maybe the better word. They are made with techniques that don't fit together. It has been a common problem in Finland. We don't, and this is because every company, every cost consultancy, they have their own databases, their own data, their own systems, how to handle the problem or the challenge. But in infra.net we have solved this. We have different kind of techniques to different kind of phases. Techniques don't allow true comparison between project phases. If they don't, we can't steer. That's true. If we don't know where the cost overruns come from, how can we steer? So comparison doesn't reveal reasons for differences. It has been a problem or challenge. Cost data. It's unavailable. It's very hard to find. For example, take some railway signaling systems. I have an experience over many years now that cost data for railway signaling systems, it's very hard. It's only maybe 4 or 5 persons in Finland who knows about those costs, and they keep it in the pocket. But it should be shared. Cost data is out of date. If you don't constantly keep it up to date, gather the data, if you don't have cost models, it's mission impossible to keep it up to date. And when we're talking about projects, cost data vanishes. But if we have a common shared database, what happens? Everybody can get access to the data, to the information. It's there, it stays there if somebody takes care of that. Software, it doesn't exist. 5 years ago in Finland, we had a situation that we didn't have any commercial software for cost estimation or management. Now the situation is a little bit different because we have developed a couple of systems, of which I will a little bit later show you one. We have no connection to designing software. We were talking about before. We were talking about 3D modeling. Then it was 4D, and in the last presentation it was 5D, I guess. Okay, 5D modeling. The 5th D is a cost. It's maybe future, but we have already tried it in Finland. Sund is trying it in Arizona, so good luck. And our aim is to combine our software so that we can, in fact, or we get input from the designing software. All the quantities are coming from the designing software. So, in fact, we don't have to make massive quantity takeouts. The information comes from where it should be, from the designs. Asset management. There's no connection between cost management and asset management. The information disappears. But if we have a centralized information platform, starting from the initiative project phases, which continues through the whole life cycle of the project, then this same information can be used in asset management also. Challenges. And in asset management, I won't go through everything here because line by line, because all of you can read, but I'm sure you can share my opinion or our opinions. Information for strategic decision making. It's a problem because we have lots of information which is detailed information, but do the decision makers get the right coarseness of information? Information production demands lots of work. Markku, there was, in his presentation, he pointed out a challenge: how to make this information production effective, how to keep the information up to date. Okay, it can be a problem. We have solved it in infra.net. Make it commercial, outsource it. Funding doesn't meet needs, but it cannot be proved transparently. when the decision makers ask, for example, road administrations or railroad administrations, why do you need this amount of money? It's a huge pile of money. Where do you need it? Can you prove it? Maybe you can. In Finland we have had a lot of problems with this. Decision makers are very often, they are political decision makers. They don't speak the same language as we. We are professionals. We have to speak with different words with them. So we have to have systems. So what does infra.net do? We provide tools, techniques, services for infrastructure cost management. In fact, we try to provide everything. Tools, techniques, systems that cover the whole life cycle. We have the IT infrastructure, and everybody can, with a little bit money, maybe access this information. And the system is, in fact, it's developed with the biggest clients in Finland. We have had, in this project, we have had cooperation. We have, in fact, a cooperative deal with Finnish road administration, Finnish railroad administration, and the 8 biggest cities in Finland. And I think this kind of development model we could easily, not easily maybe, but we could localize it anywhere. We provide information on infrastructure assets and projects. All the information is in the same system, in the same data bank. And it, in fact, it can be accessed by the strategic decision makers and also the operational decision makers. I mean, for example, the project managers or the heads of road administrations. They need different kind of information, but in fact it's in the same system. And also services. Rapala as a cost consultancy company, we provide various kind of services related to cost management. Benefits. I think maybe the biggest benefit is the fact that we have the same information basis, and this basis services every kinds of needs, and everybody who needs this information has access to it. And the information is available. It's always available. We use, as a solution in ICT solution, we use, in fact, our strategy is that internet is the answer. Because if you have wireless access to our databases, if you have internet access to databases, everything is there. It's easy, in fact, nowadays to share information via that. It's only a technical problem. Quality of information, it has to be, when we are talking about cost management data for cost management or asset management, it has to be up to date. If it isn't, there's no value in that data. Reliable, right degree of cautions. So, for example, if we have this kind of system, for example, for the engineers, it's possible to concentrate on core business. What is the core business of engineers? It's engineering, good designs, not maybe finding up-to-date cost data and things like that. To make good designs, good solutions. ICT, very briefly, in a nutshell, it's here. It's about sharing. We have a service provider who takes the responsibility that everything is up to date, everything works. We have the data there. Then we have the property facility managers, for example, the project managers who use the data, and then, for example, asset managers who make decisions and need the data for decision making. And then we can, and it's possible, in fact, not very complicated, to make connections with a different kind of registers and other software with this this platform or service center. Thank you. Now I would like to show you a short demo, 5 minutes, about how one thing is solved. It's a software which is used for initiative cost estimates in infrastructure projects. It's called HOLA, and I think it's, and I'm sure, in fact I'm sure it's, HOLA is Spanish, and why it's why have we named our product HOLA? That's because we want to be international. All right, I will try to explain what we do. We open the software, and then now Charles gets in, gives his password. Then we create a project, new project, and we name it. We have lots of information there, but now we give only the name, Fresno Demo, because now we need a freeway in the Fresno region. Then we make a couple of groups there. We have two phases in the project phase A and B. It's done so. The next step is we can do it this way. We try to find a map, and this software supports most of the common map formats. Not yet 3D maps, but or 3D models, but most of the common models. Then we add a project part. Here a freeway from, as you see, from Fresno to somewhere. You know the map better than I do. Okay, there we have a freeway. Let me go a little bit closer. We have a very simple procedures, mapping procedures here. Then another project part, which if I remember right, it's a main row. No, it's a secondary row, starting near Friant, going to Raymond, and then another place. Now we have two project parts, and here on the left we have different kinds of project parts. There are roads, streets, railroads, tunnels, bridges, everything you can imagine to be in an infrastructure project. Now we add a slab bridge, for example. Big parts, and we don't know very much. We know that, for example, we need this bridge because there's a river. Then a couple of intersections, T-type, X-type. Very easy, it's like a game, in fact. And now we can see, this is a project we have developed. We have project parts, then we start the faces, then we can edit any project part. For example, here, intersection type, the curves, they're not, we want them to be natural stones, earthworks. It's a little bit under the ground level, then it's loose soil, but it's less than 2 meters. All right, then we have, it's there. Then we edit the interstate. We have a description of the interstate here. What does this price you see up there, what's involved? Traffic density was one of the choices we made there. And it's ready. We have an estimate. Very rough one, but it's ready. And it took us 5 minutes, 30 seconds to be exact. And after this, we can also add some project services, project factors. If we have land acquisition costs, financing costs, they all can be added to the project as a project cost. And then other costs, for example, here we add contaminated soil, which has to be removed and into the table. Everything we can add into the table or into the map. We can make a choice. If we don't want to, if the user doesn't want to use the map, it's not a problem. Then it's ready. Report, open report, and we have standard reports, and there's the cost. And then the question is to the client, are you ready to invest 195 million, in this case euros, because I didn't change it into dollars. And another kind of standard report. And what happens after this when we save this estimate, this calculation? It goes to the information platform. And now everybody who has access to this project can see it, can use it. It can be disseminated to everybody who needs the information. We can combine it to other projects, make multiple different kind of actions, in fact. This was my presentation in brief. I'd like to be brief, and if you have questions, I'm happy to ask. I'm happy to answer them. Please.
Have you developed a cadastral model that would help in an example like you showed there that would estimate the cost of right-of-way acquisition, property acquisition?
Property acquisition, now I'm not sure if I understand the question right.
Well, being that that was a new corridor where you'd have to acquire the right-of-way from the property owners, you'd have to compensate them for the cost of that property in order to deliver that project. Do you have a land net or a parcel fabric in Finland that you could use to overlay your information on a map that would also then calculate your cost for the right-of-way for the project?
In fact, we don't have we are now talking about land acquisition costs. No, that's not involved in the project. We have to estimate them separately. This kind.
Certainly you could foresee that application as well by
Of course,
integrating
I
that
can
database.
foresee any application in this HALA software. In fact, I'm very, how could I put it? I'm like a young boy or a young horse in the field because it's something very special. What happens, in fact, what you don't see when we calculate or estimate costs here? It's a model. It's a data model. In fact, it's a product model running behind this everything. And, for example, if I would like to see how many cubic meters or cubic meters of some kind of earth we have to remove from the plants, it could be seen. The first estimate of that. And if, for example, if you are talking about railroads, how many meters of rail do we need? How many? I would like to say, how many nails do we need in a project? We have a model behind this. When we make very simple, when we answer very simple questions, for example, about the traffic density or the speed allowed to a road, it affects the model. It gives you the approximate quantities.
When Pekka presented this to me in Helsinki, we had a lot more time, and it was really fascinating to go through and look at the level of detail in the design model. You can look at how much stone where it is, what the transport distances are. You can look at pavement layers and composition. You can look at life, product life cycle, maintenance periods. And a question I have, I don't think I asked at that time, is what have you measured the degree of accuracy in your cost model, and have you been able to connect that to the level of detail in the design?
Yes, in fact, we have with this software we have estimated about 100 different projects in Finland. Unfortunately, because projects they last long, we haven't yet got the data of all of them. But in fact, I have a couple of clients here who could answer this question: how have we succeeded, Harri?
I'm very pleased with this program. Notice we can compare results from different projects. Before that, we have project A, project B. We never could compare those names. So this is a big advantage of this kind of program.
I don't have a question, but I would like to say that when I took a look to Caltrans net pages, there was a very interesting question. Someone asked why those road projects take so long time to from the beginning point to the end. And there was a nice answer that there was a picture where was environmental design, pre-design, design, and a small production time. We have in Finland same problem. The actual problem is there. It's not somehow in production time. And when we think about lean management, I think this kind of ideas could be so helpful for us to make shorter this pre-design, time. And I would like to know, does, for example, Caltrans have same kind of ideas or equipments in use here? Yeah.
Can you restate the question?
Do you have the same kind of ideas or equipments so that you can make shorter this pre-design design processes before production, so that you can outlet or design more fast and easier, and have this discussion with the new way with the customers or administrations and so on.
Oh, you mean what's being discussed here today, the lean approach?
Yeah. So that actually you can, we are discussing here lean process in production time, but actually you can take this lean idea through this planning
Yeah.
time also.
The project development phase, project delivery, not just the construction phase.
From the beginning when the ideas come. It takes, for example, there was a picture in Caltrans databases that it takes several years to make this redesign because it takes time to plan and discuss and plan and discuss.
It may not be so much the design process, I suspect, the engineering, as it is acquisitions, negotiations, permitting, environmental reviews, right? I'm guessing, but this guy's going to tell us.
Okay. The short answer is no. The long answer is that we have plans. We have several products that we are in or several proposed software tools we are in the process of acquiring, mainly through commercial off-the-shelf software. The first one is the PRISM project, the project management system. We have our current project management system is a mainframe system that's really out of date and inadequate for our needs. But our new project management system, there's the bids are out, and the bid date is tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow we will have bids on a new project management system for Caltrans, which will do the things that we saw Andrew talking about. A lot of those kind of things are part of the features of that proposed system. The second is the integrated financial management system, where we are also in the bid process, and I'm thinking like June, July, somewhere around there, we'll have bids on a financial management system, beginning with the core accounting, so financial basic core accounting processes, and building from there to budgeting, right-of-way, the kind of things that Mark was talking about, acquisition of right-of-way, the programming of funds, asset management, all of that as an integrated system. The third thing we have in process is a construction management. We have an outdated mainframe-based construction management system. One of the fun things about our construction management system is that it can't handle numbers bigger than $999 million. The Bay Bridge is more than $999 million, which means the Bay Bridge is being done by hand in terms of its accounting. Well, by spreadsheets and things, because the system won't do it. So it's doing one-off because the tools we have just didn't imagine fields that were bigger than X wide, and that's how big the fields were built. Who would have thought back in 30 years ago that you would have a contract that could possibly be that big. Then, closely related to construction management, we are in the process of replacing our project estimating system, which is something that we talked about here. And we have purchased the software to do that. We've purchased a product called Transport, which is a product that's produced by the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. This is an association of the 50 states. 39 of the states currently use Transport, and we'll hopefully be the 40th state using that for our estimating. I think those are the main features. The other one is geographic information systems, where we are, and that's where Mark and surveys are tied in closely as well. More geographic information systems, and tied with that is computer-aided design. We do use computer-aided design, and we're proposing to replace that with a newer system.
More questions, comments? Yes.
Is the system that you're putting together tied into time-based cost indices so you can do estimates today that might be able to reflect escalations or changes in the market that are anticipated?
Yes, it is. Because, in fact, the price level, we have to always know the price level in which we are estimating, of course. So we are building or we have built a tender price index, which is based on real projects that are estimated by this our software and tools and equipment. So we have a tender price index, and then maybe I could show you very shortly how everything is constructed. It's here, in fact. HOLA deals with end product elements or project parts, as we saw, but we update the prices, in fact, from resource data. We collect this resource data. As you, as a contractor, you know it's very important to know the price of resources, and then we can accumulate the information into, for example, if we have this model, we can accumulate it into, for example, a price of a bridge, certain kind of a bridge. And then we have to be sure that the price level is right. Then the only way to do that is to estimate lots of projects and to see what is the accuracy of the estimates, in fact. And if there's any gap, so we have to make the structure better, in fact. And it's, in fact, it's a self-developing system all the time.
The cost data is fairly local, isn't it?
Yeah,
so you can't transport it from Finland to California easily.
In fact, there are lots of... I was waiting for this question. In fact, because it's local. That's true. But as we have learned today, the basic elements, in fact, in road construction or road or railroad or street or whatever, piping, the main elements are the same, about the same. There are a little bit differences. For example, you use concrete on surfaces. We don't in Finland very much. The elements are same. How we produce them, it's about the same. There are a little bit differences in the production. Okay, the resources, how we use the resources, they're a little bit different, but not that much, in fact. The resource cost is totally different. So we have to maintain the resource cost data bank. Then put it up here, see how it goes. Does it meet the tender prices? If it does, everything's okay. But if not, we have to examine where the problem is. And in order to do this, I think if we would want to localize a system like this into California, we would need a couple of local partners who know the market, who know how things are done here. What is the? I'm sure that you have commercial cost data banks. Maybe we could do some cooperation with them and try how it works, because everything that is needed for maintaining this data, everything that is needed for estimation, the software, data banks, anything, we have it already ready, and it's in English, because we saw a possibility here that, okay, if we do this here, why not in States, or why not in Russia? In fact, before summer I'm going to Russia to show this presentation there. Not in Russia. I have a demo version in Russia, but я немного говорю по-русски. I speak very little Russian, so hope they understand English. But it's local, but it's not a problem. It's a challenge, I think.
I think there's suggested there might be an opportunity.
Also an opportunity.